Usually if I get access to a demo build of a game or an alpha test for a game before they're released, I'll spend an hour in them if they're decent. More often than not, I end up spending far less time in them before uninstalling them. But with Crosswind, it's been completely different. As of this recording, I have nearly 20 hours in the current alpha test for this game. And what I want to do in this video is give you an idea of what the game has to offer, as well as my positive and negative experiences with the test so far, so you can decide whether or not it's a game worth putting on your wish list to look forward to in the future. So what is Crosswind? Crosswind is a pirate survival game where you play as a freelance pirate captain who took a job that went awry and you end up stranded on an island. What you have to do in the game is you have to pick yourself up, you have to scrounge around for resources, build yourself shelter, and ultimately sail around to the neighboring islands in an effort to restore your life to back to what it was before. So just to give you kind of an idea of what the current game has to offer, and I'll just say this up front, that my experience so far has far exceeded most early access survival games that I've played in the last 5 to 6 years. Not all of them, but most of them. This game being called an alpha, I thought was kind of questionable because it's very polished and it has a ton of content. The developers have said that the current playtest offers approximately 30 to 40 hours of content. To give you a perspective of my experience so far, it took me approximately 10 hours to get to the first of 3 bosses, and I have not even fully explored and discovered everything to offer in the first biome. I have gone into the second biome and I've actually been to the third biome because I was trying to see how far away you could sail, but I've barely scratched the surface of what this game has to offer. I did spend quite a bit of time building my base up, which I'll show off just a little bit later on, but that just kind of give you an idea of what to expect. So in the game, you're going to start off on the island, you're going to explore it. It took me about 3 hours to explore the starting island. Each island, what you can expect is a couple of points of interest. There's probably going to be a couple of caves you can explore, which are going to have resources in it, usually some type of ore. There also might be some enemies in there as well as some chests to discover. The islands I've been on have also had some various hidden things. There was buried treasure on one. There's sometimes hidden little alcoves underneath the ground where there might be staircase that's covered over in some sticks you have to break to go inside of. And there's going to be points of interest that'll have some type of enemy in it, either wildlife or perhaps some NPC characters that you have to take on. So that's kind of like the general gameplay loop. You'll find food around the island. You can get food from trees because you're going to find coconuts or bananas or other types of plants or berries and plants and vegetables. You can also get meat from the local wildlife, as well as there's also seafood you can get. There's crabs walking around on the beach and stuff like that. So finding food is not that big of a deal. We'll talk more about that in my positives and negatives, but that's just kind of the general idea of what the game has to offer. Now, from what I've seen so far, the game also has sailing, which I'll show in just a minute. There's also naval combat, which I haven't touched upon. So some of the things I'm not going to be discussing that I know are features that I haven't touched upon are going to be naval combat. You can actually build your own ships, I believe. I currently have unlocked the basic little boat you get, and then the next level boat. I believe you can actually build your own ships at some point. There's also farming, which I've not unlocked yet, or I haven't figured out how to do. So you can also do farming. So these are the features I haven't seen yet. All right, so now that I've told you kind of what you can expect from the game, let me talk about the positives and negatives that I've experienced up to this point. So first off, I wanted to show off my house here. This is what I built. This is after, like I said, nearly 20 hours. I originally started with the little starter house that I showed some footage of before this, but here's where I am right now after about 20 hours. So you'll see I have built out of stone here. It took a decent amount of time to harvest these resources, but all in all, it turned out pretty decent. So first up's the positives. Again, I'm going to reiterate, it's a pirate survival game. I've been looking for a pirate survival game. The only one I played up to this point was Out of Reach, which by the time I played it, it was kind of abandoned and nobody was playing it anymore. I do a video for that game if you're interested on my channel. I'll leave a link for it in the description down below. But this is the first actual pirate survival game that I've come across recently that was pretty decent. So big positive here is there's going to be craft from storage. So only thing I have in my inventory here is my tools and stuff like that and some food. But I can go over here to this workbench and I can craft with all the plant fire I have. I can craft the rope here. So essentially anything I have resources for in the chest, you can see here ingots and stuff like that, you can craft for within, I believe it's the building radius, and the building radius is determined by this bonfire out here. So if I go on the build menu, you'll see how far the building radius is from that. So it kind of covers the whole house as well as all the way over there. So I believe that's the radius. Sometimes it gets a little finicky and placing certain things you have to have it in your inventory, but crafting at the workbenches allows you to craft from storage, which is absolutely huge. Another one's going to be the way the food system works here. So the bottom left, you'll see that it says I'm starving right now, but you'll notice that my HP is not going down any further, and it's not giving me a countdown saying you're going to die. The way food works in this game is you can eat up to 3 different things, eat or drink. Eating them is going to give me buffs. So in this case, I'm going to eat these 2 meals here. So this one's going to give me extra HP, and it's going to give me 5 vitality. It's also going to give me, it's going to last for 30 minutes. This one's going to give me 5 strength and more max HP. And the coffee's going to give me 20 mobility, so I'm going to be able to run faster, and it's going to give me more HP. So you notice my HP bar went up. I'm going to be able to run faster, and then I'm going to have the ability to deal more damage because of the extra strength. So the food, you're not going to starve in the game. I know some people like managing hunger and thirst. I personally find it to be honestly annoying a lot of times in games. So not having to manage the hunger and thirst, huge plus for me. Another one's going to be durability. There is no durability in this game. So you'll notice the weapons down there, they have nothing on them. You don't have to repair them. I can just walk up, I can cut down these trees here, and cutting down the tree, I'm not going to have any durability loss on my gear, whether it's your armor, your weapons, your tools. You never lose durability on it, and you don't have to fix them. You'll also notice I did take damage from the tree falling there, so that is something that is in this game as well, which is a pretty cool feature. Next up is going to be decorating your bases provides a comfort bonus. So this was, I believe, inspired by Valheim. It's also in games like Enshrouded. I know Grounded has a version of it, but in this game, you'll notice I currently have comfort level 16, and the way the comfort level works is you put down decorations in your base. So there's all these different categories. Putting down one thing from each category is going to give you a certain amount of extra comfort level. I don't know what the highest is right now because obviously I haven't unlocked everything, but I have at least one thing from each of these categories placed down right now within the house, and I have a comfort level of 16. That's going to give me, it gives you stamina, and your recovery rates have been increased, and it's going to last for quite a bit of time. So I'll walk out here, and you'll notice that the little green guy in the bottom left corner underneath of that is there, and it will eventually slowly start deteriorating, but you definitely want to have your comfort level up because it will help with your stamina and I believe health regen as well. So it gives you a reason to build. You're building, honestly, I know a lot of people like to build just to build, but this gives you an actual reason to build and decorate, whereas in other games, it's just kind of cosmetic. Next up is going to be, there is no restriction on fast travel. So, and you can actually fast travel like anywhere you've been. So just to show you how much of the map I've currently explored, this was the first island. This took about 3 hours to explore. I have fully explored this island, this island, this island. So that's 4 islands. And this is the, I believe this is the, and then over here, this is the second biome. This is where the first boss was for me. The world is procedurally generated. So where the things appear for you may be different. I'm sure the biomes are probably going to be similar. You also see a boat out there that I mentioned before. And where is that boat? There's a boat out there that you can encounter and have naval combat with. But just to give you an idea of what I've explored. So what you do is you can put down bells, and the bells let you fast travel. So I have bells all over the map. Every island I've been to, I put a bell down. And I did sail all the way up here. This is where the third biome was for me. But it was a swamp that was poison, and I couldn't stay in it without taking damage. So I abandoned that. So the way the fast travel works is you can just go to the bell here, and I can click on any bell and go to any island. I can just click to this island, and I'm instantly over there, and it puts me in my little ship. Now, if I'm in my ship, it'll also let me fast travel back to the island I was at before instantly. No worries. So that's an awesome feature. You can also call your ships at any time. So we have this little boat here. This is the original boat that you start with. And that puts it there. Call ship, cutter. There it is. There's my bigger ship. So that's like the second size ship you get. You can call them at any point as long as you're near the water, and getting in them lets you fast travel to anywhere. So the fast travel is also unrestricted. So you have oars in your pocket. It doesn't matter what you have in your pocket. You can fast travel back and forth, which makes getting around a lot easier and makes transporting resources huge time saver. There's also quests in the game. So there's going to be a journal here that's going to have different quests in it. I'm not going to click on all of them because I don't want to kind of spoil things for you in case you end up getting into the current alpha version, which you can actually request access to on their Steam page or in their Discord. They are still giving out access to it, and I think it lasts for at least a couple more weeks after this video goes live. So there's your primary quest, and then you have these side quests. The side quests are optional, but they give you things. So this one is the example being that it marked an X on the map, and I had to go over to the X and dig up buried treasure, and part of that was fighting off some mobs that spawned in order to be able to loot the chest. So the quest, what they do is, though, they push you along, and they kind of guide you through. But what the quests do is they push you along. So right now you'll see on my map, there's currently some X's down here where I have not been. These are going to be quest markers telling me to go hunt down this guy or go find this person or go over here. And I went to this island specifically because it told me to go over here and rescue some people, because I believe you can get a crew for your bigger ship once you get it. So the quests do push you along and encourage exploration. And then along the lines, like something I mentioned earlier was loot in some chests does respawn. So I'm just going to run over to one of the POIs over here, which I believe is pretty close by. These islands aren't that big, but if you explore everything, they do take a bit of time. There's one of the, oh, that's just a resource. I'll probably run into some creatures here. You'll notice this island has some boars on it. The inhabitants of the first island are going to be boars. There's going to be some dodos over here. The blue dodos are aggressive. The coastal dodos are not aggressive. They'll only attack you if you attack them, or if you're getting attacked by one of the blue dodos. But the points of interest, they encourage exploration, so you'll explore the whole island, make sure you discover everything. And then, like I said, I don't know if it's respawned yet, because I don't know when last time I collected it, but these chests here, actually, yeah, this one has loot in it. So this, every 12 hours, this chest will respawn. There's also going to be one of the points of interest, aside from those right there, where there's just little little POIs you explore. There's going to be similar ones that they're called trial dungeons. There's none on the first island, but there are trial dungeons on other islands. And what they do is they require you to go down and complete some type of puzzle. It's usually some type of either jumping puzzle or having to like figure out how to get past some traps that are laid down to ultimately get to the chest that's at the end that has decent loot inside of it. I have discovered, I believe, 5 or 6 of them so far, and every one of those has been unique. I can't say for sure if they've all unique, but at least the ones I've discovered so far have been unique. Next up is going to be that NPCs will actually collect resources for you. So Dr. Galen is the first NPC you're going to get. He just kind of guides you along in your quest here. John the Mortar is one that I have not done much with yet, but this guy over here, the woodcutter, I got him once I placed down this workbench here, which is the woodcutter bench, and you'll notice he's collected resources for me. So it takes about 8 hours. I think it's real time, and he collected 300 wood for me. So what I can do is I can actually go in here and ask him. He can either collect lumber for me, collect fiber for me, or he'll just rest. And you pay him by getting the piastre here, which you can find in chests. You can also sell things. I have not been able to sell things yet. And you can also get them from fighting enemies, as well as there's called drowners. I think they're drowners or drowned. They'll be walking around the islands, but there's also other pirates you fight that will drop these coins, and you can use this to ask him to harvest resources for you. I'm going to ask him to get lumber because I have tons of fiber. So he'll go do that, and now I have all that. Those are the positives. Now, a couple of things that I'm neutral on, and the first one's going to be stamina usage during collecting resources or while harvesting resources. Most games are going to have this, and it's just kind of a nitpick of mine, but like when I'm harvesting resources, you'll notice there's a green bar up here. It's not going to be a big deal now because I have the comfort bonus, and I've also eaten food, which has has given me buffs here. But like when you're first starting out, you might use a lot of stamina, especially when you have the stone axe and not the second tier axe to harvest resources. You might run out of stamina. I personally would prefer games have stamina only used in combat. I just don't see a point in having it be used for just running around or collecting resources. And then the other one is going to be that the combat can be, you're rewarded for parrying, but you can also die super quickly. So like I've learned how to parry pretty decently, but the first, look at how many attacks this guy's doing. You can die really quickly. In fact, the second biome, and that guy just dropped me some coin there and some shells, and the shells are going to give me, opening the shells can possibly give you pearls, which can be used as a form of ammo for your weapons. So there is ranged weapons. But you can die really quickly in combat, especially early on. But going to the second biome, so a lot of the enemies on the second biome are NPCs, like pirates, and they'll have guns, and they'll literally just shoot you like mid-combat. They just shoot you and one-shot you. So combat can be punishing, but it also could be like over time, you'll just get better with it. So I'm not positive or negative on that. I like the fact that it's challenging, but also I think it can be a little bit too punishing. So maybe have it toned down just a little bit so you're not just getting completely destroyed over and over again, because you do drop everything but your gear. You drop like anything in your backpack that's not gear, and I believe you keep your food, drops on your body, and if you go back, you have to go back and collect it. And then lastly, a couple of things that I would hope could be improved over time, and those are going to be the starting inventory. So right now I have a bunch of extra inventory slots. You initially start out with just the first 2 slots here, and it's basically your hotbar and 1 extra row. So basically your gear, some healing, maybe some food, and then you'll basically fill up your inventory really quickly. You can get a backpack early on that gives you 4 slots. You can upgrade it, which gives you 4 more, and then upgrading it again gives you these 4. You can upgrade it at least 1 more time to give me an extra slots here. The fast travel does mitigate this a little bit, but even with that and having storage on my ship over there, I will end up having to go back to my base very frequently or leave things behind. So I would like to see the starting inventory be this extra row down here, and then you add on to it after that. So instead of having just the hotbar 1 extra row, maybe having 2 extra rows just to start, so you're not constantly having to leave things behind. Next up is going to be the movement feels a little floaty. So it might not look like it, but it does feel a little floaty. The combat feels a little floaty. So maybe tighten that up a little bit. Not anything huge, but certainly something worth considering. Next one's going to be the being in the open water. So I'm just going to get in the ship here. I'll get in the little ship here and just kind of show the little boat here just to show you. The sailing's really easy. It's basically just push the sail up and then you go off. The one thing that's not really, and I know this is something that'll probably be worked on in the future. So this is probably just asking for something that's in the pipeline or in the works in the future, is going to be more to do in the water out here. So other than you will, like I said, you'll come across these ships that are out here and you can fish, but there's no like danger out here from what I've seen so far. So maybe having things like, I don't know, krakens or squids or something out here, which is, again, I think that's something they'll probably have in the future. That'll be something that I would like to see. And then lastly, I already touched upon this earlier. That's going to be better optimization for like bigger builds. So like my FPS is pretty decent until I get back to close to my house, and it just goes down by roughly about half. And like I said, I have a pretty decent sized build here, but nothing like super spectacular. And with this game offering co-op, I'm sure people will be building like massive cities and stuff like that. So maybe better optimization. But again, this is an alpha version. Although, like I said, for this being an alpha, I'm really impressed by it, because this game has more in it than most early access and even some fully released survival games that I've played in the last 5 to 6 years. So some things that they're planning that I didn't mention up to this point that are on the roadmap. They're going to have endgame PvE as well as PvP content. So I'm not sure if the world will be shared world PvP or if you'll have to opt into instances of PvP. So I'm not sure how that's going to go. That was kind of a thing for me, like with Dune Awakening. The reason I didn't try out Dune Awakening was because Dune Awakening was, the end game was PvP focused. So it's going to be interesting to see how that pans out in this game, to see whether or not it's something I'm interested in. I'll try PvP, but it's not like something I'm super, super hyped for. But having end game PvE like dungeons or raids or something like that would definitely be cool. There's going to be a social hub they're going to have. They plan on updating the game over time. I think they're going to release it not in early access, although I guess there's a chance. Also, it's currently, I asked about this. What's the monetization plan? They currently have it listed as being free to play. They said they're going to figure out the monetization at some point. My suggestion to them when I was watching a stream of the game when one of the devs was in there, I said, please just do cosmetics if you do free to play. If it's pay to win, I will absolutely not play it if it's pay to win or pay to progress. If they do cosmetic only, I think that'd be great. Honestly, I think this game could easily sell for $30 to $40. With its $30 definitely for its current state, $40 with everything they have planned. And then they could just sell like supporter packs or stuff like that, kind of like the Deep Rock Galactic model. Release it one time and then add updates over time that are free, and offer like optional supporter packs that people would buy if they like it. But overall, for a game that was not on my radar and I just happened to stumble upon a stream of it and then dove into it, the playtest, because I was fortunate enough to get into it. I'm definitely looking forward to this one releasing. It's definitely going to be on my wish list. And if I get access to any more alpha tests in the future, I will definitely check them out, make some updated videos, or stream them once or twice just to keep you guys abreast of what's going on with the game and what I think about it in its as it progresses through its development. So anyway, if you found the video helpful, make sure to hit the like button. Consider subscribing for more content just like this. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.